Today I'm making a very simple buckwheat bread. No yeast, no kneading, no stress. Just flour, a little salt, a drop of olive oil and thyme. I'm using Grano Saraceno Integrale, which is all grain organic buckwheat flour. But despite the name, it has nothing to do with wheat. It is actually a seed and it is naturally gluten-free, which makes it easier to digest for many people. It also contains amido, which is starch in English. So you still get the energy without the heaviness that sometimes gluten can bring. So I just added 375 grams of buckwheat flour into a bowl, and I'm about to add a little teaspoon of salt. This is half the size of a normal teaspoon, just to give you some comparatives. Here's a normal teaspoon, this is half, so about 2.5 grams. And to enrich the flavor a little, I'm going to add a couple of tons of olive oil, 1 and 2. I've measured the same amount of weight in water, 375 grams or milliliters. This is lukewarm, so make sure that it's not cold but also not hot. And I'm going to add a little, and I'll just leave it there, and using a wooden spoon I'll start mixing it together. Very gently, a little bit at a time. You do not need to be precise. The main objective here is to achieve a smooth paste. And I'll carry on a little at a time. And as soon as I get to a point where it gets very difficult to continue, I'll add some more. You might be thinking, why are you not adding the water all at once? That is because all flours are different, and sometimes you might find that actually you might not need the whole amount, or you might need some more. So by adding it gradually, it gives me the opportunity to test it. And this is actually the last I've just added, and I should be fine. But also you might need to add some more. But there is also the added part that it is easier to mix if you do it progressively, so I would recommend that you do it in stages. And carry on mixing until all of the lumps have disappeared. You can see that this is really smooth, and you will get something similar to this in terms of consistency. So I'm going to use another spoon to remove the excess paste from my wooden spoon, so that I don't waste any. As I mentioned before, this is a really simple recipe, but it does need time. So I'm going to leave this now for 24 hours. This is some cling film, which I've placed on top of my glass bowl. I'm going to use a little skewer to just pierce a few holes so that the bread breathes. And now, temperature. Depending on time of the year, if you've got a house which is about 21 or 22 degrees in terms of room temperature, you can leave it on your worktop for the next 24 hours, no problem at all, and perfect to continue to stage 2. But if, like me, we are at the moment in the depth of winter and it's really cold outside, so our temperature indoors is about 18 and 19 degrees, I'm going to turn my oven on about 3-4 minutes, then I'll turn it off until it reaches the temperature of 50 degrees. Then I'll place that inside the oven, I'll close the door, and I will not touch it until 24 hours. And that will give me a very similar outcome. On the other hand, if you are lucky enough to live somewhere which is really warm, maybe 30 degrees, and that is your indoor temperature, I would recommend that you leave for about 15 hours, that is 1-5. So, and then we can move on to stage 2. So I'll say cheerio for now, and I'll see you tomorrow, 24 hours from now. Bye bye. As I am making this video over a couple of days, I was editing the first part, what I recorded yesterday, and I realized that I was talking about temperatures of 30 degrees. We've got 2 degrees in the UK at the moment. I was feeling so jealous as I was talking about 30 degrees. I only wish. Anyway, 24 hours on exactly, and this is what it looks like. You can see what has happened here, and actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to interpose this with the same frame from yesterday, so you can see the difference. You can see that here I've got now some cracks which have developed, and it does actually risen a little, not because of yeast, because there is no yeast here. And just smell it. And I have to say, the smell is incredible. It's something unique. It reminds me of similar when you're making maybe beer and you got that fermentation going on, because this is all about fermentation. This is not about rising with yeast. And it's just a It's a strong smell, but really, really nice. A little bit nostalgic as far as smells go, because this bread is not widely consumed nowadays. I'm going to be using a loaf tin today, and mine measures 11 centimeters in width and 21 centimeters in length. That is perfect for 375 grams of flour, but you can also make it this bigger if you want. So instead of 375 grams, you could buy packets of half a kilo, or you buy a packet for a kilo and only use half a kilo, whatever. But if you were to use, say for example, half a kilo, make sure that the tin is slightly bigger. So I would increase it proportionally, so you can actually have the equivalent, something like 30 centimeters in length and 12 centimeters in width. I'm going to line it up. I've got here some, these are called the cake tin liners, and ideal because obviously it's the perfect size. But if you do not have any cake tin liners, by all means you could just use some baking paper. By the way, I'll mention this now, do not worry if you do not get all of those little cracks that I've got in mine. Sometimes you don't, depending on temperature. The most important thing is that you leave it to rest for 24 hours. The magic will have happened. So this next part is really critical, because actually there will be a few air bubbles in my dough, and I don't want to lose them, so I'm going to move it into my tin, but really slowly. I want to avoid disturbing it too much, so I'll just pour it first and see how it goes. So I'll let gravity do most of the work, and then I'm going to scrape the rest using one of those little rubber spatulas, and that is perfect. The next job is to ensure that this is spread nicely, and I'm using a spoon, but I'm dipping it in water so that it doesn't get stuck to my spoon. But I'm not pressing it, I'm just very gently spreading it, for the same reason. I do not want to lose the air from inside. You can actually leave this as it is and place it in the oven, but it would be a shame not to add some seeds, which actually is very typical of this type of bread. And today I'm using mixed seeds. These are pumpkin seed, sunflower seed, sesame seeds, and also some chia seeds. They will look very nice, but also once they've toasted, that will enhance the flavor of my bread. You might also ask, Francesco, can I add some seeds in the dough as and when I am actually mixing it, so that they're also inside the bread? Of course you can. You can also put some whole nuts, which they will go quite nicely on top as well. But this is quite dense as far as bread goes, and if you were to add anything else in the middle, you will have a very stodgy bread, and it's not going to be the lightest bread in the world. It's obviously a feature that is a rustic bread, so you will make it even heavier. So I advise not to, but of course you can if you want to, or you can also put some whole nuts on top, as I just said. So this is ready to go in the oven, and because this is a smaller loaf, I'll put it in initially for 35 to 40 minutes at a temperature of 170 degrees, because mine is a fan assisted oven. If you've got a normal oven, up it by 10 degrees to 180. It might need longer, but after half an hour I'll do a little skewer test, and then I'll let you know how long it takes. So I'll see you then. How can you not get emotional when you cook something like this? The smells remind me of something not too dissimilar to a Sicilian bakery, where they still cook lots of rustic food, and the kitchen is just like one of those. So it's just out of the oven. I did a skewer test after 30 minutes, and then I left it in for a further 10 minutes. So total cooking time 40 minutes at 170 in a fan oven. And having removed it from the tin and the paper, I will leave now to cool down for about 10 to 15 minutes as it'll set, and then we can slice it and tuck in and see what it's like.
Yep. But peckish.
Peckish, yes. Now, someone who was only fed about...
Only fed like I'm a dog. It's true. I was fed about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. Oh, it was 3 hours ago. Was it 12? 12 hours?
No, she's been moaning to me for
2.5 hours ago.
For the last hour and a half. I'm so angry and so angry.
I can smell it. What can I say?
She only had a beautiful bowl of cavolo nero with cannellini beans in olive oil about 2 hours ago.
Yeah, maybe.
And
It was lovely. It was lovely, and I was full.
And ever since I've been baking this, she's been going on, oh, I'm so hungry. When can we have some? When can we have some? She's terrible. So we have got a couple of stations going on here. We got the United Kingdom on the right. Julie is going to try some with butter and jam. And the Sicilian station on the left. No point making a point who's going to win, because
there's no winner. We're both winners, in fact. We're both winners.
We've got mozzarella, we've got olives.
It's just, since you mentioned freshly made bread, I've been fantasising about butter and jam on it. I can't help that.
So we're going to taste some. So I've been resting for 15 minutes, and you can hear the noise. It's beautiful. So would you like this part, or shall we just move on?
Yeah, I like the end.
Let's have a look first inside. Look, can you see what I meant?
You said dense, and dense it is.
Dense it is. So before you start slicing any big dough wedges, ensure that you are a little bit careful.
Doorsteps.
Doorsteps.
We call them doorsteps in the UK, don't we?
There you go. So I think that's plenty for a taste. I'll do another one there.
It'd be rude not to.
Yes.
Gosh, look at that colour. It's really quite an interesting... It's like a mushroomy colour, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's nice. It's still a little bit hot, by the way. So obviously, the longer you leave it, the more flavourful.
You could never have too much butter on bread. If it's a treat, I don't know.
I should also add, by the way, that being that this flour is also very rich in fibre, if you want to keep your sugar levels in your blood down, this is supposed to effectively slow down how sugar is absorbed in your body, and is really, really healthy. Also, it's got an antioxidant compound called rutin, which is very good for circulation and heart health issues.
And I should point out that my salted butter and homemade jam from Ryan's sister, that's our daughter's boyfriend's sister, made this, and it's delicious. It's not got much in it that's very good for you at all.
Still.
However,
okay, I am making mine very, very Mediterranean, very, very Sicilian. So you see me adding a little tomato and some olives, and I'm going to put a few slices of mozzarella with it. This is fresh mozzarella, of course, there. And I put some oregano in there as well. And I've got here a little basil, and I'll finish with a little drizzle of olive oil, of course. And I know there is salt in the bread, but obviously this is to flavorize the other ingredients. And here is my little tester, so let's have a look. What do you think of yours, by the way? Good?
I think we should have started just with a piece on its own, because obviously I then tried to have a little piece. It's just a different texture, isn't it?
I'm still in time.
It's just a different texture.
But
it is like bread, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's very, very dense, and it's nice.
So why do we put yeast and everything in it then? Why do we put yeast and sugar and everything in it?
Because you want soft bread.
Well, it's soft. I suspect this is best to eat today, so we might have to go for it now. But I don't know whether it'll last too. I don't know. We'll see.
It's delicious, honestly. And no, she is not correct, by the way. A feature of this bread is that it will last for days. So because of its density, you can leave it in the cupboard for 3-4 days without having to worry. The reason why she said we can eat it all in one day is because she wants to eat it all in one day. I know her too well, but it's really, really nice.
I've got an exercise class tonight. I'll wear it off then.
She's dangerous. Don't listen to her. So you can see, obviously, it's beautiful because it's only one ingredient plus water. Because you don't have to add salt, you don't have to add olive oil, you don't have to add seeds. I added them because I wanted to give it more flavor. But it's such a simple thing to make, but it does require 2 key ingredients, really, the flour, but also time. So it's wonderful. So we will be enjoying this over the next few days.
We certainly will.
Look at this.
Oh, sorry about that, everyone.
Thank you for watching. We will carry on, and hopefully if you make it, or if you want any advice, drop me a line, and ensure whatever you do that you do the skewer test and it's properly cooked before you slice, because different flour will behave differently depending where you live in the world. Ciao ciao, see you later.
That's lovely.